I know that I have met a few of you guys, but just for the people who don't know who I am, my name is Sarah. I work here at GHJ as the Talent Engagement Manager. And a little bit about my background before I dive into what I do here at GHJ. I'm actually originally from Texas, born and raised in Texas, moved out to Southern California for college. I actually went to USC for undergrad, and I'm back at USC for my MBA. I'm in the part-time MBA program at USC while working here full-time at GHJ. Um, and at GHJ, I've been here for about a year and a half. Prior to coming to GHJ, I actually worked as a campus recruiter at HCBT. I was there for about 3 years. So I've been in the kind of mid-tier public accounting space for several years now. I've been at GHJ for about a year and a half. So that means I actually started right before COVID. So my role here at GHJ, it's really been a lot of, how are we helping keeping employees engaged? What are we doing to keep employees happy? How are we going to pivot in this COVID world? So that's really what my role has been a lot of since I started right before the COVID shutdown. Just some kind of fun facts about myself before I get started in the presentation. I am 500-hour Pilates certified for those of you guys who enjoy Pilates or like, kind of those workout fitness classes. I love listening to podcasts. Now that I've been coming to work about once a week, I've definitely been really into listening to podcasts. My interest in podcasts changed a lot. Recently, I've been really into learning more about real estate. So I've been listening to a lot of real estate related podcasts. But I also like a lot of kind of the popular podcasts. I listen to a lot of how things work, Freakonomics. I also, for those of you who like reality TV, I also love listening to Bachelor related podcasts. So, just kind of a lot of random things I listen to. And then I also love attending comedy shows. So now that things are opening up again, that's definitely one of the things that I love doing. So just a little bit about myself, just to get to know me a little bit more. So now about GHJ, the fun stuff, the reason why we are all here today. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the GHJ difference. What makes GHJ different from every other public accounting firm? Because I know that you guys have been recruiting, networking, meeting with people. So what makes GHJ different? So just to kind of provide some background information, one of the great aspects of GHJ is the firm's emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So GHJ prides itself on having a really diverse staff and ensures that the workplace reflects the rich diversity of the people in the community that GHJ serves. Also, the firm enables groups of people, of underrepresented people in the profession and the accounting profession, to thrive at GHJ as well as, just thriving in public accounting as a whole. So our firm aims to create a welcoming and inclusive environment for all current and future members of the firm. So next, the question would be, what is the firm doing to keep this momentum going? So first, we've implemented a firm-wide annual unconscious bias training in order to ensure that all employees are educated on this topic. Second, the firm has created several DE&I cohorts, such as the Women's Empowerment Committee, which I'm on. And, if you have questions about that, I can definitely, help answer a little bit more about that. And we've also started a BIPOC committee. And a lot of these committees were specially created in order to help bring more awareness to different issues that people in underrepresented communities might face. And then finally, we have ongoing audits of our policies and procedures to optimize diversity outcomes. So for example, we've taken a look at our recruiting process in order to ensure that there is no unconscious bias in the interviewing process. So before I move forward, do you guys have any questions or thoughts on that? And I'm curious, if at CSUN, you guys have, ever taken any unconscious bias trainings?
I guess I have a question in regards to women's empowerment. Can you tell me or elaborate a little bit more about that and what it entails?
Yeah. So the Women's Empowerment Committee is really open to everyone at the firm, but it allows, women who are traditionally underrepresented, I guess, in high positions to hold leadership roles. So the statistic actually is that there is more of a 50-50 split of women and men starting out in public accounting. So when you enter into the public accounting industry, there's equal representation. But as you start moving up in your career, so people who hold kind of partner level roles or principal level roles, the percentage of women actually decreases. And, that could be due to a lot of factors. Maybe, women are having to step back because they're having a family or kids, or, maybe they're not having the support they need. But the purpose of the Women's Empowerment Committee is to, really help women, kind of take on these leadership roles and, kind of gain that experience and visibility in order to kind of help them move up. And again, the Women's Empowerment Committee is open to everyone at the firm. Some of the things that we've done for the Women's Empowerment Committee, we've hosted workshops like, how to purchase your first home, or, how to help save for retirement. So we've done a lot of kind of cool workshops with the Women's Empowerment Committee that, again, everyone at the firm is invited to attend and be involved in.
I see. Well, thank you for your response.
Yeah, of course. All right, so just moving forward, so you guys have probably seen the Be More on our website. And so just the idea of being more, it's about family, self, and firm. So we really encourage all of our employees to live to their fullest. It's not about focusing solely on the firm. It's really about everything as a whole, taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, and then taking care of the firm. So that's really the whole Be More aspect. Now we're going to dive into what the actual presentation is about, the art of networking. So this is the agenda today. So first, I will be talking about the future of work virtually. Because of COVID, the future of work has changed and is changing. We're going to be talking a little bit more about knowing your personal brand and setting your vision. We're going to be talking about leveraging every opportunity to showcase your brand. We're going to be talking about sharing your experiences on social to build that community. And then finally, I will be helping answer any questions that you may have. So the future of work. Future of work is very hybrid now, thanks to COVID. So we really will need to understand that and learn how to network virtually. So the shutdowns caused by the COVID pandemic has forced corporate America to really embark on, a massive work from home experiment. And so really some of the questions that we now face are, how do we keep workers safe? How can we stay productive? What's the best way to communicate and collaborate? How long will we be out of the office? And really 1.5 years later after COVID has started, corporate leaders have really learned some valuable lessons. And that the most important lessons that they've really learned is the lesson of flexibility. Employees want flexibility. And expecting workers to commute to the office 5 days a week is really now a thing of the past. And companies need to understand that, and they are understanding that. And the workplace has now really become a hybrid workplace. And so because of that, it's really up to you guys to be able to really understand and learn how to network virtually, and what are things that you can do in order to stand out when you are networking virtually. So first things first, knowing your personal brand is very important. If you've ever tried to develop your personal brand from scratch, you know that it's a really overwhelming process. Where do you start? What do you include? What does your personal brand even mean? Who are you? What's your personal brand? So one of the things that you can do right now just to get started is to Google your name, see what comes up. Know that you are ultimately responsible for your personal brand, and people want to align with the brands that are positive and that are good. So just by a show of hands, or you can do a digital hand, how many of you guys have ever Googled your name? Okay, so a few of you. Okay, that's good. That's good. You want to know what's out there about yourself. You want to know that when people Google you, what are other people see? More often than not, when people Google you, the first thing they probably see is your LinkedIn page, which is why it's really important to have a nice professional LinkedIn photo, because they probably see your LinkedIn photo, and that's probably the first thing they see. But if you are a student athlete, or if you've ever published something, on your school's website with your name on it, all of that will come up in a Google search. So it's really just kind of important to understand or know what your potential employers see about you. So take a look, and maybe if there aren't things that are too positive, maybe now is the time to kind of scrub what's out there on the internet. What you want to do is share content in a meaningful way. Don't be passive. So if you feel like now is the time that you, typically in college, you have a little bit more free time, maybe sharing content on LinkedIn. What type of content do you share? Do you share things that are providing value for the other people that you are connected with? And how are you showcasing your voice? How are you showing up digitally? And how are you connecting with people? Even if you think, oh, I'm just a student, there's nothing I can do to provide value. Everything you do is adding value and providing value. For example, if you're, part of AA at CSUN, you're helping, you're helping the members. You're helping the members connect with recruiters. You're helping members stay involved. What types of information are you sharing? And make sure that if you are sharing things or posting things, creating your own content, that it goes with the brands that you're trying to portray out into the public. So make sure to leverage every opportunity you get when you are networking virtually. So even here today, obviously this is a very safe space, but every time you attend a virtual webinar, maybe type something in the chat feature. The more you put something in the chat feature, the more you are involved in interacting with the presenter, the more the presenter will remember that name on the screen. You don't necessarily have to be the loudest person, and that's fine. Typically people who are interested in public accounting may be a little bit more introverted, but by being involved in other ways, by maybe chatting a question, by maybe raising your hand, by doing other things, that will help the presenter kind of remember your name. And then after the presentation, connecting with the presenter on LinkedIn. So those are kind of ways that you can still stand out without, kind of dominating the conversation. Just leveraging all the opportunities you have. Even being here today, that you're leveraging your opportunity. You are here today building that relationship with me, whereas other people who didn't come to this presentation may not have that opportunity. So even being here today, you're building your brand, you're building your network. Just some kind of quick stats, because you guys are accountants. So I know you guys love numbers. And so just kind of a cool stat to know, 92% of people trust recommendations from people they know over brands. And so if someone they know says, hey, this is good, hey, I recommend this, people prefer recommendations from people they know over just something they see online. So it's really important to build that connection, that network. Again, just being here, even if you don't say anything. And again, I'm also that person that doesn't really feel comfortable speaking out. Even if you don't say anything, just being here and having the presenter just seeing your name, that is, important as well. Push yourself and maximize every opportunity. It may seem like you're going to all of these networking events and you're tired, but after you graduate, it's really going to be more difficult to, kind of set yourself apart. So while you're in school and while you're kind of fed a lot of these opportunities, definitely maximize every opportunity you have. And then after you graduate, you're really going to thank yourself that you showed up to these events, that you networked, that you built your connections. So self-motivate yourself to really, really push yourself out of your comfort zone while you are currently a student. Because while you're a student, it's okay to make mistakes. People know, professionals know, you're still learning, you're still practicing, it's still a safe space. So I would say really maximize this opportunity. And then set up a follow-up strategy after each engagement. The follow-up is critical, because if there is no follow-up, then the relationship is essentially ends. So after every time, let's say you meet with someone, the follow-up strategy can be when can we schedule a coffee chat, or this was a really great conversation. Can you refer me to someone else who may know a little bit more about this? You want to have some sort of follow-up strategy so that you can continue that conversation, so that this is not just, a dead end networking event. And then what can you do in the moment? What kind of things can you provide? How can you maximize this moment? So again, just making sure that you're maximizing every moment that you get. It's all about opportunities. And in college, you have, all the opportunities here really at your fingertips. So just making sure that you leverage those opportunities. I'm going to pause here and see if you guys have any questions. Okay, I'm going to continue moving forward. So make sure you share your experiences on social media. Obviously, LinkedIn is, the professional social media site. And so if you have something positive happen to you, don't be nervous about sharing it. So let's say you have received, an internship offer from your dream firm. Share it on social media. I call it flexing your humble brag. So oftentimes, people may be nervous about maybe it coming off as they're bragging, but it's really not bragging. It's, if you received a job internship offer from your dream firm, or if you've won some sort of achievement, I encourage you to, post about it on LinkedIn. I encourage you to kind of share your successes, because when you share your successes, other students maybe that you may know may think to themselves, wow, this person who's my friend was able to do that. That means I'm able to do it. And maybe they will reach out to you. And that's kind of a network that you were able to create, and you were able to help someone else. So just making sure to share your positive experiences and not being nervous about coming off as bragging. It's really you're sharing your experience, you're helping other students, and then other students can see, if that person can do it, then I can do it. And then it's kind of a cycle of an encouragement and cycle of just kind of sharing the knowledge. Again, consistency is key. You can't just post one thing, and then say, okay, I did my, sharing for the rest of my time in college. Consistency is key. It really takes about 5 to 7 impressions for someone to really remember you. That's why networking is important, and coming to these events is important. Again, it takes about 5 to 7 impressions for someone to remember you as a brand. So continue to share on social media. Share about coming to a networking event, share about, maybe you did a recruiting event with a firm that you've already accepted an offer with. Share all of those experiences on your social. If you are mentoring someone, share that experience. If someone is mentoring you and helped get you a position or helped get you an interview, share all of that. Again, providing periodic updates on social sites. Don't miss a moment. And again, people can't help you if they don't know who you are and what is important to you. So you want to attend these events, you want to ask for help. That's what we're all here for. We're all here to help one another. And again, it's all a safe space. And so if you don't ask for help, people don't know that you're looking, people don't know that you need that help. So don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. And that's it. That is the presentation for today. I'm going to go into job opportunities that we have at GHJ. But before I dive into job opportunities, I want to pause there and see if any of you guys have questions about the networking presentation that I just gave.
I had a quick question. So you were touching upon the subject of, contacting them about a coffee chat. What would you suggest, like the length of time to reach back if they haven't responded, especially in like a busy season, like a week or 2 weeks, like a follow-up email?
I would just follow up once after, give it a week, and I would just follow up once. If they do not respond, chances are they are probably stuck, kind of in the middle of busy season. And I would reach back out to maybe the recruiter and then ask the recruiter if they have maybe any other names that they can give you so that you can potentially meet with another person. But I think if, following up too many times sometimes there's, a delicate balance. So I would follow up once, and then if not, go back to the recruiter and find a new name.
Thank you.
If they aren't responding, connect with them on LinkedIn. Oftentimes, people are more likely to be responsive if they see kind of that face behind that email. I find that when people connect with me on LinkedIn, I feel a little bit more, kind of a responsibility to help because there is that face. So don't be afraid to connect with people on LinkedIn. That's really what LinkedIn is used for. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I will talk a little bit about job opportunities then. So right now we are currently recruiting for summer 2022 interns. Here's just a list of requirements and eligibility. So we are requiring students who are enrolled in either a bachelor's or master's degree in accounting, because this is a tax audit internship. One of the cool things about the internship at GHJ is that we do a tax and audit rotation. So I know that at a lot of other firms, you either have to choose between tax or audit, but at GHJ, you get the opportunity to do both. You get the opportunity to test out tax and test out audit. Not only that, you get to meet the tax team and you get to meet the audit team. And more often than not, you'll realize that the tax and audit teams tend to have different kind of personalities. So you get to kind of meet the different personalities of the different departments. Our traditional internship program is an 8-week long program. Our office is in downtown LA. So the internship will be in downtown LA, and it really will be a hybrid. As I mentioned, we're not going to require anyone to come into the office every day. Obviously for interns, more often than not, you probably will be in the office majority of the time, but we will give all the interns that flexibility. So our 2021 interns this year, even though they were in the office majority of the day, we allowed them to go home early and work from home the rest of the day. We allowed them to come into the office later if they didn't have any meetings. So there was a lot of flexibility involved, even though they were in the office. Grad requirements, we're looking for people who are graduating between December 2022 and July 2023, minimum GPA of 3.0. How to apply? Just apply on our website. You can apply on Handshake, but applying on our website is the best place to go. Deadline to apply is technically tomorrow, but if you need a little bit more time, just email me. Once I stop sharing, I'll chat my email in the chat box. But that is it from me. I'm going to go ahead and actually chat my email. Let's see. That's my email. So feel free to email me if you are interested in applying and you're not able to meet the deadline for tomorrow. Feel free to email me if you want to be connected with other professionals. I can definitely help make that connection for you. Or if you just have any general kind of recruiting career-wise questions, my role is more than just, recruiting. I also like to help people with questions about their career, what they want to do, accounting, just anything in general. I've been doing this for quite a while, so I'm here to kind of provide that that level of knowledge for all of you guys. I know I finished this pretty quickly. So, if there are no other questions, I can just kind of end this early, but any kind of final thoughts or final questions that you guys have for me? Yeah, Eric.
Yes. Could you talk about forensic accounting?
Yeah, so we actually do have a forensic accounting group at GHJ. We don't necessarily recruit for interns. However, we do have, kind of one-off positions that open up every so often. We're not recruiting for any forensics positions right now, but as I mentioned, those positions kind of open sporadically. However, if that is what you are interested in, email me and I will connect you to a few forensics people at GHJ, just so that you can continue to stay in touch with them. And if a position does open up, they can kind of just have you in the back of their minds.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do you have any full-time job offerings for full-time? We're not actively recruiting. However, we always do have kind of spots available for full-time positions. So if GHJ is the firm you want to be at, again, email me separately because we're not actively looking, but we do have positions open for students who are looking for full-time roles.
I have a question regarding to that unconscious bias training that you guys have. Can you like elaborate what that entails? Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually hire someone. We have like an external like trainer actually come to GHJ and do the training. And so unconscious bias training is oftentimes a lot of our actions or a lot of the way that we think, there is unconscious bias attached to it, even if we're not intentionally trying to create biases in the workplace. Everyone has their own biases attached to it. For example, in the recruiting process, when interviewers are recruiting students, there's unconscious biases attached to everyone. Even if the interviewer comes into the interview with fully good intentions, they're giving everyone a fair chance. We all have unconscious biases based on how we were raised and based on our own background and based on our own experiences. And so unconscious bias training that we have is, it just kind of helps us be a little bit more aware of the biases that we may have when it comes to the workplace, when it comes to interviewing, when it comes to interacting with people who may have different backgrounds than the background that we have. And it just helps create kind of more of a, just cohesive workplace if we're really able to kind of see that we kind of come into every experience based with our own kind of background assumptions.
I see. And so touching upon like the social media part where you want to sell your brand, like let's just say I go on LinkedIn and I post, a lot of helpful tips, whether they're regards to work or school. Does that like help foster like the unconscious bias of a person that like their brand to be perceived as a helpful person? Or is that more like a conscious bias?
I would say that's more unconscious. I mean, if you are posting on your LinkedIn, things that are helping others, unconsciously students will see that and they will come to you. Students, newer students who are maybe new to AA or new to CSUN will see you as, kind of the subject matter expert in what's going on in accounting. You have to be visible in order for people to know you exist, and in a way, if you're the person saying, hey, new students, or hey, CSUN, our accounting meeting is this time, or we have this firm coming on this day, the newer CSUN students will say, oh, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. I want to set up a one-on-one coffee chat with Dixon. I want to get to know Dixon. Dixon must know the recruiters. Dixon must know the firms. He must know what's going on. And so unconsciously, students will come to you and ask you for help. And the more students that come to you, recruiters will say, oh, a lot of students have talked about Dixon. Dixon kind of helped refer them to other firms. And so then your name will kind of come up a little bit more, and it really will be kind of more unconsciously, more people will know you and more people will know that you are the person that's kind of helping others and connecting others.
I see. Thank you.
Well, if there's no other questions, you guys all have my email address. Feel free to reach out to me at any point. I'm always here and happy to help. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Bye, everyone.